Hello, my name is Shanda. I'm running for Superior Court Judge for Lake County. For those of you who aren't as familiar with the court system, Judge Hedstrom in Department 4 is retiring after 18 years on the bench, and his seat is going to an open election, which is June 5th. So I'm hoping to replace him. I have been an attorney for almost 18 years. I've done criminal law, civil law, appellate work. I was, when I first moved up here 15 years ago, I was general counsel for Robinson Rancheria, and then I also worked as a Indian Child Welfare Act attorney for Hopland. My specialty is Indian law. I did my undergrad at UCLA, my law degree at UCLA as well, and I did a joint master's program in American Indian Studies. So after I left the law school, I worked in Los Angeles for about 3 years at one of those very large law firms, and then my family decided to move up here. My great-grandparents owned a resort in Clear Lake in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and we used to come up here on vacation. And I spent my life swimming in Clear Lake. I was about 3 months old the first time I went swimming in Clear Lake, and have been swimming and enjoying it up here ever since. And then about 15 years ago, my parents moved up here, my aunt, my uncle, and my grandmother moved up here as well, and she lived up here until a few months ago when she died at 98, so my whole family lived up here. And after I went to work for Robinson Rancheria, I spent 4 years as deputy county counsel for I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I spent 4 years as deputy district attorney for the county of Lake, where I did all different kinds of criminal cases, white collar, misdemeanors, DUI, felonies, anything to do with the local reservations. Plus, since I had worked for a casino, I was the only one who could read a spreadsheet, so I did all the white collar crime as well. After that, I went to work for about 6 years, and I'm still there. I work in the county counsel's office, which is the civil attorney for the county. I do a little bit of everything. We do appellate work, juveniles, contract litigation. I do a lot of labor negotiations, but I do say that my job there is, if I'm doing it right, nobody knows we exist, and my job is mostly to close the barn door before the horses escape. So I've wanted to be a judge for many years. I understand how important a judge is in the judicial system, not because they're the most important person in the court, but because they are responsible for everything. They set the tone, they show respect to everyone who comes in, and that's the promise that I make to everyone that I talk to. Judicial candidates are not allowed to make campaign promises. We don't take a platform or a position on gun control, marijuana, or whatever else you might want to ask a judge about. But the campaign promise I do make is that everyone who comes into my courtroom will be treated fairly. They'll be treated with respect and the highest ethical standards. I think that that is the most important thing you can ask of anyone who wants to sit in a judge's chair. Also, I want to focus on restorative justice and procedural justice, both of those things are about making society whole. So restorative justice is restoring society, the victims, and the perpetrator to functioning members of society. And procedural justice is about making sure that people understand the process they're undergoing while they're in the court system. I would also like to start a mental health court. Right now at the Lake County Court has a drug court and a veterans court, which integrates drug and veterans services into the actual sentences that people get. The drug court, the veterans court are right there to offer services and trying to get people's life back on track. I would like to do the same thing with the mental health court. There is money available, state grants, etc., to do the same thing, so that the mental health services would be right there within the court system, and people would be sentenced to make sure they see their mental health provider, they take their medication and that kind of stuff. And because the jails here are so crowded, you end up with mostly people going to jails that have a mental health condition. So that's what I would like to focus on, as the next judge of Lake County. Lake County has only had one other judge that was female. About 30 years ago, Betty Irwin was a municipal court judge, and there hasn't been any Superior Court judge or anyone since then who was female. So I'm hoping I can add some diversity to our court, and I have a website. It's LexShandaHarryJudge.com. You can ask, you can see anything else about me you might want to hear or read. And I also want to encourage everyone to come out and vote June 5th. So that's all I have to say, and I hope you'll vote for me. Thank you very much.